Louisiana Beer Reviews looks at the reformulated Rockdale Light. Well, when this first debuted in early 2016, it was only 3.5% alcohol and only 83 calories. More like Rockdale Ultra Light. I didn't find it had a bad taste, but it was such a thin, nothing taste. There just wasn't much there. So yeah, it's dropped now to $10.26, something like that, $10.46 plus tax for a 24 pack, or $4.46 for the 6-pack of these pint cans. You can actually get Steel Reserve 211 6% for $4.28, a 6-pack for the pint cans. So that's a better deal at Walmart. Anyway, I bought this at Walmart. It's got a code on the back, 2216 1030FL. Not sure what that means. Maybe the 221st day of 2016. Doesn't seem right though. Anyway, it's been upgraded. Still made at Lacrosse, Wisconsin by City Brewing for Walmart. Some people have been talking about winery exchange. There's no reference to this beer whatsoever on the winery exchange website. I think it's simply contracted by Walmart with City Brewing. It's now 3.9% alcohol and 96 calories, more in line with a regular light beer rather than an ultra light. So let's check it out. This will be the first video review for the updated version in the world. I tried to look at Rate Beer and Beer Advocate for their pages on this, but they're still showing the original version. They have not updated, showing the second iteration of it. Now, Walmart has also contracted, this time with the NAB Brewery, North American Breweries, the makers of Genesee at Rochester, to produce their craft line of beers, the Trouble Brewing. And most of us that reviewed that, we all agreed that while they're not great, they're pretty nice. And for about $12 to $13 a 12-pack, it's a great deal for a pale ale, a red ale, an India pale ale, and there's one more, I can't remember. A wheat ale, Belgian style wheat ale. Okay, so I'll show you this Athlon's 1996 National Football Preview Edition later in the video. Okay, time to start. Well, it's a thick white head. It's a clear, bubbly, not supercharged, but bubbly straw appearance. It looks like any other major light beer, you know. Pabst Blue Ribbon Light, Ham Special Light, Leinenkugel's Light, Blatt's Light. Okay, those are not exactly the major ones, but looks like that. Old Milwaukee Light, Milwaukee's Best Light, Keystone Light, Busch Light, Miller High Life Light. Smells sweet. Grain, you know what they're using: water, barley malt, corn syrup, the brewer's syrup, hops and yeast, hop extract and yeast. Might be malt extract. I'm sure they're not using the top of the line ingredients. But Walmart probably told City Brewing, don't make the typical stuff you put out, like that Milwaukee's Classic Light that tastes so bad. You might make that for those other grocery store chains. We don't want that, okay? So they made their own label. It's not the greatest looking label, but, I mean, I don't remember seeing the Rocky Mountains in Lacrosse, Wisconsin, but there were a few bluffs over the Mississippi River, next to the Mississippi River. Much like with Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So I live right next to less than a mile from the Mississippi River, and that beer is made also less than 1 mile from the Mississippi River. So I have something in common with this product. Life on the river. And that highway right out there, U.S. Highway 61, runs from New Orleans all the way to Lacrosse and past Lacrosse into Minnesota, onward or northward. It's been a good while since I've driven all the way up there on that road. And that's something to do, and I'm not going to start rambling on, but that's something for you to do if you're interested in traveling and seeing different sites. Get on one of the old interstate highways. In Louisiana, it would be U.S. Highway 51, 61, 71. These are all, any of them that ends in a 1 is a top to bottom highway. That was the old system. From Maine to Florida, that's 1, number 1. In California, from Washington, California is 101, and then all the ones in between. If it goes east to west, cross country, it'll end in a 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, and then down to Louisiana, 90. Well, 90 only goes to Texas because it gets cut off by Mexico. I mean, it can't go any further. Okay, enough of the roadology, but they were replaced by the big interstate, modern interstate highways, but those tend to be kind of dull. I mean, they're fast, except for when they have a breakdown or a wreck, which causes a major traffic jam, which is all the time. But the older interstate highways, known as U.S. highways, but they are interstate. They're interesting because you go through all the towns, and they're scenic in some cases. It's thin, but it's not too thin. It's typical light-bodied. It's at the high end of light, though. It's approaching medium-bodied lager beer. It's sweet. There's a little papery undertaste. Not that uncommon. Forget hop action. I mean, if you're looking for any kind of hop bitterness, you're looking in the wrong place. Maybe it would be rated 1 out of 5 hop cones on the Cyclops scale, but that would barely be that. It's probably probably 3 out of 5 sugar cubes, 2.5, 3 out of 5 sugar cubes. The finish is crisp, it's refreshing, it's easygoing. Okay, so would I buy this? Well, I don't buy light beer, so that's a moot point. I mean, I buy them to review, or from a neighbor across the street. I bought her a 12-pack of Miller High Life Light because she likes light beer, and every few months I'll get her a 12-pack to drink. And she told me this morning, "Oh, I drank one last night. Yeah, it was really good." Okay, so but this will be a fine substitute for your major light beers. I mean, you're going to pay $17 a 6-pack or higher, a 24-pack or higher for cans of other major light beers, and you can pay, in some states, people are telling me $9.99 for a 24-pack of this. This will be a fine substitute. Is it as good as Coors Light, Bud Light, Miller Lite, and those? Probably not, but I would have to do a blind taste test to be sure. But it gives them a good run for their money. Little hollowness there, but that's expected. It's light, it's kind of gutted, right? So, I mean, I'm not going to buy it because I just want more. Now, you might say, more? You got a fridge full of Miller Genuine Draft and Milwaukee's Best Lager. Those are cheap, yeah, but they're more. There's more. Get more. So, yeah, it was a good decision to up the ABV and the calorie count. So, I think it's right in line where it needs to be now. Did they watch our reviews? They may have. I think these companies do watch the reviews. They rarely respond, if ever. I've had a few do it. I've had a few breweries contact me, but it's not common. And but I think it's not costing them anything. How hard is it for them to get some development, R&D person to look at the videos and see what people are saying, and then adjust the product as it needs to be adjusted. So if you're if you're out there drinking with Lucy and Ramona and Sunset Sam and eating hamburgers, whatever, this would be fun. All right, so I'll give it it's like a C. Here's MX Ice. That's another one of those City Brewing beers. High gravity lager. Yeah, not exactly high gravity, since it's only like, from what I could find, like 5.6% alcohol. We'll call that elevated gravity, maybe. Give it a C. For light beer, it's like C plus, I guess. So it's a trade-off. Whatever you want to do. You want to trade some quality to save money? Hey, go for it. No big deal. It's not made to be a contemplative beer anyway. Okay, so 96 is when they started using that digital photography, and early on it was really washed out and poor. It looked really poor. Because Athlons used to always have really wonderful photographs. But I started noticing around this time, what's wrong with the photos? I didn't know what digital photography was, but you could see it's not good. Well, you probably can't see from that over a video camera, but it's washed out. It's just crummy. But then as time went on, those improved. It took a good while, though. I would say it took a good 10 years for it to be approaching the quality of film. And it's there now, that's even now. It's surpassed it probably. Northwestern Wildcats, the only Division I team in the Chicagoland area. Only a few miles north of Chicago, like, what? At the most 5 miles north of the Chicago city limits, if that far. Okay, I'll just open this at random and see who we find. Ball State Cardinals, Rutgers Scarlet Knights. They were struggling then. Well, Ball State 7-4 in '95. That's not exactly struggling, but Ball State and Rutgers are both struggling today. Especially Rutgers, the State University of New Jersey. So thank you for watching this video production, and y'all come on down to New Orleans.